Hey everyone, it's me, JV. So today I planned on talking to y'all today about a quote on forgiveness. I woke up this morning and realized that this was going to be the last Monday of the year and that probably should say something about goals. So I am totally just flying by the seat of my pants. I have no idea exactly what I'm going to say, so this may get interesting. But I do have a quote though. So this quote is by Diana Hunt. Goals are dreams with deadlines. So we are going to talk about goals, and we're going to talk a little bit about the process in which I take to make goals, because that's the only process I can talk about is the one that I do. So, and it's worked for me. So before I heard about this new plan that I do, I used to set goals. Mainly, they were mainly career goals, and I would just write all my goals down. And, like, these are my goals, and I would make lists and everything else. And I love making lists. There's happiness in making lists. And then a few years ago, I think it might have been 2 years ago, I heard Dave Ramsey's approach to goal setting, and I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey, and so I heard this, and I thought, I kind of like that because he brought up areas of setting goals that I hadn't even thought of. So he has 7 different areas that he says you should set goals in. And I'm not sure if this is something that he came up with or if someone else came up with or if he came up and added stuff. I can't remember exactly sure. I want to say it may be in the Entre Leader book, I think. I'm not sure if it is or not. I can't remember where I heard it. I just know it was Dave Ramsey. So anyway, it's 7 different areas, and then you take those 7 different areas, set your goals, and then you break down those goals 5 different ways. And I know it sounds like a lot of work, but once you get into it, you'll understand it's not that much work. So the 7 different areas we're going to talk about, and I'll have these in the notes, that you want to set your goals in are physical, intellectual, career, social, family, spiritual, and financial. And so within those 7 different ways, you want to break down your goals to make them the first one. If you watched my last confession of a word I cannot pronounce, it has that word in there. So I'm going to be saying it very slowly so that I can pronounce it. So the first way that you break it down is that you be specific. I think that was it. There's no one here to tell me if it was or not today, so I don't know if I pronounced it right. So the second one is measurable. The third one is that it needs to be your goal. The fourth one is a time frame, and the fifth one is written down. And so I'm a writer, so I love writing down stuff. So I got my little book that I got a few years ago. They didn't have any J's. That's the reason why I ended up getting a B. So that I write down my goals in, and my little red tag is this year. So that's where, so that I can get to this year really, really quick. So I've actually been evaluating 2015 and kind of seeing like where I've lacked in my goals. And I actually hate to admit it, but the area that I lacked in most was actually social. I made a goal to keep in touch with 15 different friends on a higher level. That means not just reading their Facebook post or liking a picture on Instagram, but that I actually picked up a phone and called them and stayed connected to them. I started out 2005 really, really great and really, really strong, and kind of died off. So that was the area actually that I did the worst in. So sorry if you are one of those 15 friends. I will do better in 2016. So yeah, so my failures. So in those goals, I made 2 goals that I consider my without God goals. And that means that, because I am a spiritual person, that means that without God, I would not be able to achieve this goal. And so I'm going to turn this ringer over here off. So, because it just dinged and something came up on the screen, and I don't know what's happening, but it's okay because we're just being random and flying by the seat of our pants today. So it's going to be fun. It's into 2015. Yeah, 2015. We're just going to be random. So, anyway, my 2 without God goals that I made for for this year. One of them I actually hit, and the other one I did not. And it is totally my fault because I knew that I needed to up my faith to get this goal accomplished. And I made the goal and I thought, okay, Lord, you're gonna have to help me with this. And as I got into the year, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna happen. But it wasn't that like, Lord, I don't know how this is gonna happen, but I know you can do it. It was just, I don't know. This isn't gonna happen. And of course, it did not. Now the other one that I set, my without God goal, and it was a pretty significant goal for my one of my 5-year plans. It happened, but for some reason my faith in that one was just so much stronger, and I was able to just hone into my faith and to be able to believe God would open the doors, and he did, because I believed that he would. And yeah, I did not do good on the other one, so sorry, Lord, I'm gonna do better this year. But so anyway, to make a long story even longer, so I'm happy with what I did with my goal because of the fact my goals for this year, 2015, because I did accomplish one really huge one, and then a lot of other ones that I just really wanted to accomplish. Did I accomplish all of them? No, but okay, had a little camera glitch. So anyway, I think where I left off was, even though I wasn't able to accomplish all of the goals, I was able to accomplish some, and accomplishing one goal is better than nothing at all. So I'm proud of myself for 2015. There are some areas I wish I would have done better, but I'm going to do better in 2016. So just to give you a couple of examples of some of the goals that I can tell that I feel okay talking about are, and I lost the page, one of my intellectual goals, for instance. So if you need like a little bit of help of like, okay, how do I do this kind of thing? So my intellectual goal was a book reading goal, and I didn't want to just read any book. I wanted to read at least 6 books that were going to help me. I think out of the 30 that I decided, 6 of them I wanted to help me with another goal. So like social media books, some other books that I read, like autobiographies about people's lives who are doing now something that I want to do. So that's kind of an example of my intellectual. So I said I wanted to read 30 books, and then I listed out what type of books that I wanted to read. I gave myself a time frame. I had 12 months, and then I divided those out by each month of how many I wanted, and I wrote down, and I actually tallied and was like, okay, check, I did that book, check, I did this book. And that way I was able to look at the end of the year and be like, wow, okay, I did reach that goal. And that's the number one thing for writing it down, is so that you can be able to be like, you can look back and say, yes, I did hit that particular goal. So this has worked for me. I've done it this way for 2 years, and it has really, really worked well for me, and I really like it. So I'm so happy that I came across whatever it was that Dave Ramsey was talking about when he went into this, because it's been great. So it's something that you can try and see if this kind of works for you. Another thing I do outside of writing it down in my handy dandy book, I have a goal board, and this is something that is personal for me. Actually, only one other person has actually seen this board, and I've listed, like, not every goal because there was way too many to list, but like the really, really big goals, because I wanted to be able to look at these big goals each day and be like, okay, this is what I'm working for. This is what I'm striving to get to. So I have those on the board, and I'm able to wake up in the morning and go over to the board and be like, okay, this is the things that I need to focus on. And sometimes you just need that reminders. Maybe you're not in a place where you can put a board on your wall, but maybe like in the back of your closet, behind your clothes, some place that you can go to and you can look at and you can be like, okay, this is the goals that I've set, and this is the road that I need to stay on. Because sometimes you need that little motivation of seeing it day in and day out and remembering what you're working for. So on top of my goals, I also do two other, well, actually, I guess three other things. I set a word for my year. I set a verse. Last year I had one verse. This year I have two. And the third one is a song. I couldn't remember the last one. So for 2015, my song was Dare You to Move by Switchfoot. And it was just really my push to, there was, something big that I needed to do that I knew was going to really push me towards one of my 5-year goals, and also help with a 7-year goal. And I just needed to kind of give me that little push, and that song was my little push. And so every time I felt discouraged, and for the longest it would be the first song I played in the morning, and I'd be like, yes, because it's just talking about dare you to move, dare you to get up, and just, it's pretty much, it's like I dare you to do something, and so I absolutely love that. My scripture for the year is a little personal, so I won't go into that, but my word for the year was actually sacrifice. And when I took that, I don't think I really knew what I was doing. So I'm being a little bit more careful for this next year, because this year has definitely been a year of sacrifice for me. And I meant it. This is how I meant it. I meant, what was I willing to sacrifice to get to what I wanted to achieve? So, maybe all of my friends are taking a trip, but I know that I need that money to go towards a particular goal or something that I wanted to do. It was just what am I willing to sacrifice? That is not exactly how it turned out this year. So if you decide to pick a word, pick it very carefully. Because I learned the really good side of sacrifice and the really not so good side of sacrifice for my year of 2015. So I am ready to take that word and throw it in the trash. It's actually on my board. It's pretty big. It says sacrifice, and it has the definition. And so, choose your word very, very, very carefully. So besides that, I think that about wraps it up. But if you have any questions, or if you want any help, or you want me to even help you to make your list, or if you're like, I don't know how to break down this goal and you need a little bit of help, please feel free to hit me up on any of the platforms, social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Spice by JB. I'll be more than happy to help you. And I also want to thank some of you this last week after my last video. I guess a lot of you could feel my emotion and gave me a lot of support. And I really just appreciate quite a few of you reaching out to me and just giving me that little extra push I needed this week. So I really, really appreciate it. So besides that, for 2015, this is our last Motivational Monday, and I really hope that it did give you a little bit of push of making those goals for 2016. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of 2015 and a great start to the next year. See you soon.